alone. It was just the right kind of small and alone. She walked past the row of tiny shops inside the library, the florist with her bright blooms, the artists with their paintings and pots, and made her way down the stairs, right foot first, to the place she'd spent so many after-schools and Saturdays. The children's library. Grace smiled as she walked beneath the shade sails that scalloped the skylights, grateful that the children's library hadn't changed while she was away. She remembered the first time she'd brought Katie here, how they'd sat together in the cozy reading attic and shared all their secrets. They'd even shared the embarrassing ones, like Grace's fear that sometimes stole her voice, and Katie's thumb-sucking that had lasted past kindergarten. They'd folded paper stars and wished on them, then tucked them between the floorboards of the reading attic for safekeeping. The memories washed over Grace in waves, returning the ache and pulling it away again. She had come to the library today to leave Katie behind, but maybe she had it backward. If trying to forget made her sad, wouldn't it be better to just let herself remember? To look for the pieces of their friendship Katie had left behind? A hope fluttered inside Grace as she rushed to the reading attic. What if the paper stars were still here? She felt between the floorboards until she reached every corner. But the stars were really gone. Grace gave up. She turned away from the reading attic and toward the books. But then, Grace noticed a tiny old woman rolling a cart toward her, and the start of a smile snuck onto her lips. Hazel was here. Grace had barely ever spoken to the old librarian with the wrinkled skin and wispy white hair, but she still felt like a friend somehow. Hazel stopped to pick up a dropped binky and tickled the baby's fat toes as she gave it back. She said something to the baby's mother that made them both laugh. Then she straightened her ID badge and started forward again, and soon she reached Grace.
"Good morning. Can I help you find a book today?"
Grace blushed. It shouldn't be hard to speak to somebody as nice as Hazel, but it was. She swallowed and urged a few words out. "I'm just looking." The librarian smiled as she examined Grace through her thick glasses.
"Yes, but looking for what?"
Her knotted fingers touched the titles on the shelf.
"Adventure? Mystery? Fantasy?"
Grace shifted in her shoes. "No, thank you." Her eyes drifted back toward the reading attic. "I was looking for something else." The librarian studied Grace.
"You've lost something, haven't you, dear? Let's check the lost and found."
Before Grace could protest, Hazel took her by the hand and led her to a storage room with a small desk tucked in the far back corner. Could the paper stars be in there? Would they have seemed special enough to save? The librarian gripped the arms of the chair and lowered herself onto the seat. She bent to open the bottom drawer of the desk. Grace knelt beside the drawer to get a better look at what was inside. Mittens, matchbox cars, headbands, bracelets, and a herd of tiny stuffed animals. Grace sifted through the drawer, but there were no paper stars. There was nothing left of Katie at the library at all. But underneath the clutter, Grace's fingers found something flat and smooth. She gripped the edge and lifted, careful to tip all the smaller stuff back into the drawer.
"Ah," said Hazel. "I'd forgotten about the treasure box."
She scooted her glasses up her nose and took a closer look.
"If someone lost this, it was years ago."
Grace turned the object over. A brass lock sealed it shut, but it was clearly a book, not a treasure box. Maybe Hazel's eyesight...